All right, let's get something straight from the jump. Strength training is not just about being strong when you're fresh. Anybody can hit a decent lift when they're rested, fed, hydrated, caffeinated. That's not impressive. So what is impressive? Being strong when you're wrecked. 3 sets deep, lungs on fire, legs shaking, gripped pride, and your body is sending you eviction notices for every joint you've ever used. That's the battlefield where real strength shows up. Strength under fatigue. The problem is most lifters never train for it. They think strength is just a single number on the board, a max deadlift, a PR squat, a big bench. That's like saying a marriage is defined by the wedding cake. Cute. But you're missing all the hard work and grind that comes after. So today, we are building the fatigue-proof strength blueprint. This is your guide to not just being strong when it's easy, but staying strong when everything in your body is begging you to lay down, order Uber Eats, and quit pretending you're an athlete. Let's break it down step by step. Step 1. Stop worshiping freshness. Everyone wants to train at their best, hit the gym when they're full of carbs, well slept, and wearing your favorite Lucky socks. Cool. You'll hit your PR, post it on Instagram, slap a motivational caption like grind never stops, and then wait for that dopamine food of likes. But here's your dirty truth. In competition, whether it's powerlifting, CrossFit, strongman, or just surviving a brutal conditioning block, you rarely get to lift while feeling fresh. By the time you step up to that last event, you're already smoked. If your strength only exists in perfect conditions, it's fake strength. It's the equivalent of a survivalist who's buying a $2,000 bug-out bag but faints at the sight of dirt. So the first step of Blueprint, ditch the obsession with being fresh. You need to embrace training under fatigue. Step 2, understand the science of fatigue. This is the one card I love the most because this isn't just about motivational barking. Fatigue is not about feeling tired. It's a layered system of central and peripheral factors. First up is peripheral fatigue. This is your muscles running out of immediate fuel, accumulating waste products like hydrogen ions and basically screaming, "Bro, why are you doing this to me?" Then you have central fatigue. This is your brain and nervous system putting the brakes on because they don't want your dumb ass to tear a muscle off the bone or pass out under a squat bar. Both matter. If you don't train through fatigue, you don't train your nervous system or high threshold motor units when you're already tired. That's your neurological equivalent of trying to convince yourself to go run after 3 Thanksgiving dinners. It's possible, but only if you practice that kind of suffering. Training for fatigue-based strength, it's about teaching your body and nervous system to still call upon maximum force output even when conditions are garbage. Step 3, prioritize specificity. Here's where most people go wrong. They'll say things like, I want to build fatigue-proof strength, and then go do random circuits like it's 2009 P90X. No. The principle of specificity doesn't take a nap just because you're tired. If you want to squat heavy under fatigue, you need to squat under fatigue. This doesn't mean maxing out every day while you're tired. That's dumb. But that doesn't mean deliberately placing heavy strength work after pre-fatiguing yourself. Here's an example. Doing 4x12 leg presses to set your quads on fire, and then go squat heavy doubles or triples. Suddenly that squat feels like a very different animal. Your body has to figure out how to maintain bar path, brace, and force output when your quads are begging for mercy. Congratulations, you've just built fatigue-proof squatting. Step 4, the blueprint pillars. The fatigue-proof strength blueprint has 4 pillars. Each one is non-negotiable. Ignore them and you'll crumble like an Oreo in milk. Pillar number 1, pre-fatigue training. This is the art of doing your heavy work after you're already tired. So start incorporating main lifts after accessory or conditioning blocks. An example would be push a sled for 40 yards and then immediately hit a heavy set of deadlifts. Or do a heavy bench work after your push-up burnout. Yeah, it's going to suck. That's the point. You're training your nervous system and your muscles to recruit strength even when they're flooded with fatigue signals. Pillar number 2, cluster sets and rest pause. You want to practice putting out max force repeatedly under short recovery windows. So cluster sets, this is where you break a heavy set into mini sets with 10 to 20 seconds of rest. This will force your body to recover just enough to go again. And then there's rest pause training is very similar. You hit failure, rest 15 seconds, hit more reps, repeat. Both teach your body to summon strength in compromised states. Pillar number 3, conditioning and strength blends. This is where CrossFit hack no one wants to admit actually works. If you can hit heavy cleans right after a rower sprint, you've built more fatigue resistance than the guy who just maxed clean pulls while sipping Gatorade. Blending metabolic fatigue with heavy strength is a secret sauce for athletes who need to perform under pressure. Then we have my favorite pillar, because I'm an endurance athlete, volume tolerance. Your nervous system isn't the only piece of the puzzle. Your muscles need to learn to tolerate more work before breaking down. That means gradually increasing training volume over time so your fatigue threshold rises. What used to gas you out in 5 minutes now takes 20. This is why endurance athletes who lift often show surprising strength resilience. Their bodies are used to the grind. After 4 steps, we have your last one. Step number 5, manage recovery like a pro. Let's be clear. Training under fatigue is not a license to trash your body daily like it's a rental car. The blueprint only works if you manage recover properly. This is not optional. If you're training under fatigue while sleeping like a frat boy during finals week, congrats. You're just making yourself weaker. Then you have nutrition. You need carbs to recover from fatigue-inducing training. Keto zealots, I'm sorry, but this is not your party. Fatigue-proof strength actually requires glycogen. Then you have deloads. Every 4 to 6 weeks, back off volume so your nervous system doesn't file a restraining order against itself. Last step before we get to the actual final blueprint, and this is the mental game. You cannot talk about fatigue-proof strength without addressing the mental side. Your body usually has more to give than your brain thinks it does. But if you never practice pushing through, your brain will always win the argument to quit. Training under fatigue is a mental rewire. It teaches you, session by session, that tired isn't the end. It's just the beginning. You discover that your body has another gear, maybe not a comfortable one, but a gear. And that's what separates an average lifter from an athlete who dominates. There are coaches online who tell you the opposite of what I'm telling you. They'll say, never lift tired. Always sell yourself for the peak performance. Anything else is junk volume. I hate that term, junk volume. No such thing as junk volume. And by that logic also, Navy SEALs should only practice swimming in heated hotel pools after massage and a kale smoothie. Life and sport don't give you pristine conditions. If you only train for optimal, you're screwed the moment things get messy. That's like practicing basketball only by shooting free throws alone in a gym with motivational soundtrack. Then game day hits. The crowd's screaming, your quads are fried, and suddenly your shooting form looks like a drunk uncle at a wedding. Stop training like an Instagram highlight reel. Train like life is going to kick you in the teeth, because it will. All right, well, let's give you a blueprint of what this all looks like. Let's put this onto a training cycle you can actually run for 4 weeks and repeatable. Let's do day 1. This is going to be a lower body fatigue-proof strength. Start off with leg press of 4 sets of 12 reps. Then dive into squat, 5 sets, 3 reps after your leg press. Then you do some clustered deadlifts of 3 sets by 4 reps with 20-second rests in between. Then to finish off, walking lunges, 3 by 20 steps, just to finish those quads up for the day. Diving into day 2, this is going to be your upper body fatigue-proof strength. Start off with push-ups, as many reps as possible with 3 sets of them. Then dive into bench press with 4 sets of 5 reps. And then do rest pause overhead press of 4 by 6, then 4 and 2 at the end of that. And then do some pull-ups to finish off your shoulders and upper body with 5 sets of 10 reps. Then on day 3 is your conditioning blend. Do a 500-meter row and 5 heavy cleans. Repeat that for 6 rounds. Rest as needed in between. Then do some weighted carries for 6 sets of 60 seconds. Day 4 should be recovery and mobility. Do some light cardio, mobility flows, light accessory work. For day 5 and 6, you're going to repeat your lower, then your upper, then day 7 is a full day rest. This is not going to be magic, it's structured suffering. But after 4 to 6 weeks of this for one block, your ability to express strength under fatigue will skyrocket. Why would you go through this? Why deliberately train to feel like trash and still push big numbers? It's simple. Because life and sport and competition do not wait for perfect conditions. The marathoner hitting the last hill at mile 24, the CrossFit athlete facing thrusters after a brutal row, the powerlifter on their 3rd attempt after grinding through openers, the firefighter dragging a hose into a burning building. None of them get to say, sorry, I only lift when I'm fresh. If you want to build real-world, competition-ready, fatigue-proof strength, you need to train it. That's the blueprint. Stop being fragile. Stop confusing optimal with practical. Build the kind of strength that lasts when you're smoked, because anyone can be strong when it's easy. The ones who matter, though, they're strong when it's hard.